Hi, I'm here with Representative Jason Conger, who is running for the Republican nomination for the U.S. Senate. Representative Conger, what makes you run for that office?
Well, for the United States Senate seat, what makes me run is a desire to see a better future for ourselves here in Oregon and across the country. A desire to see some changes made at the national level on things like healthcare. Obviously, we have experienced a really epic failure of the Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare, and I think we have an opportunity to turn that around and make some changes that would actually make healthcare more affordable. But first and foremost, we have to probably get rid of Obamacare itself, maybe take some of the good ideas that are in there, like the idea of having interstate competition amongst insurers, like the idea of being able to have your children remain on your family health insurance while they're in college. So there's some good things in there that we can kind of pick and choose. But first, we have to do away with the huge tax increases and the problems that have been created.
Do you think that would be your main issue?
I think that's a high priority because of the effect it's having on people's lives right now, the effect that it's having on the cost of health care and health insurance, but also the effect it's having on the job market. And we need nationwide, but certainly here in Oregon, we need to take away incentives or penalties that cause businesses to hire part-time instead of full-time. We need people to have the opportunity to have a career and be able to build their family and build their lives and have some security, so a good quality of life, and the prospect for students who are graduating to be able to start their careers after they graduate and begin to again build that life, build that sense of security, and build that quality of life in the long run. A lot of that is dependent on being able to find a job, and so it needs to be undone. That is a high priority, certainly not the only priority.
Speaking of that, especially as far as rural Oregon is concerned, do you see any hope for reviving somehow the timber industry based on the ONC counties? ONC lands, I should say.
Sure. Well, I do. I think that we have a bipartisan solution that passed the House. It's actually passed the House twice, again on a bipartisan basis that would provide some certainty for management of those lands. I haven't seen the proposed alternative by Senator Wyden, but I have some real concerns about it. I think that the management of federal lands, not just the ONC lands, but federal forests around the state and around the West, has become another sort of train wreck. And every year, tens of thousands, often hundreds of thousands of acres of those federal forest lands are burning in catastrophic wildfires, burning down into the ground and killing everything. And it's because of mismanagement. It's because the fuel load on those lands is too great. And the way to take care of that, the way to manage those lands properly, is with some balance. And that means putting people back to work in the woods, putting people back to work in the mills, and taking some of that fuel load out so that instead of burning, those forests can be healthy and can be used for multiple uses. And that's all possible, and it certainly would be a very high priority because, again, that's something that for rural Oregon, which is kind of being systematically impoverished by our federal land policy, that's something that would make a huge difference in rural communities in a very short time frame.
What do you think, Representative Conger, what do you think the chances are of a Republican candidate for the U.S. Senate in Oregon?
Well, it's always a long shot, right? I mean, this is Oregon, and even if it wasn't, if I wasn't a Republican and running in Oregon, running against an incumbent senator is always a long shot. But we have a record on the part of Senator Merkley that is less than stellar. It's very disconnected from the needs of just average working and middle-class families in Oregon. And I think that does create an opportunity for someone to come along and offer an alternative, offer some solutions that address the needs and the concerns of those average, everyday Oregonians who are working and trying to make a living here in our state.
Representative Conger? thank you very much for your time. I'm Hasso Herring, and this is HH Today.